right, so we're now live with the Teen Biz Podcast with our special guest, Mrs. April Lynn Pelton. So April Pelton is not only Teen Biz alumni, but an incredible young lady. And so real quick, before we talk to April, I'm going to share a little bit about her accomplishments and her bio. So April Pelton is a teen author, poet, and the first youth poet laureate of Tarrant County, with a passion for sharing her love for reading and writing. Since she was 2, she's had a passion for reading and developed a love for writing in elementary school. And during the COVID-19 quarantine, April focused more and more on her childhood dream of becoming a great author. And so she stepped out on faith with this dream, which has taken her on a journey that has opened many doors of opportunity and led her to Teen Biz Camp. April has also been blessed to have her books in the Dallas Galleria, Stonebriar Mall, the Dock Bookshop, and the Arlington Public Library, featured at several Macy's stores and on numerous media and news stations and sites. She has 4 published books, including her latest poetry book, The Equation for Unity. And April is currently working on another poetry book with her cousin to empower young girls to know that they are beautiful in every way. April believes in some essential qualities to grow. 1, use your gifts to bless others. 2, do your best in all you do. And 3, go after your dreams. Her motto is be yourself, free yourself, and be creatively you. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Teen Biz Podcast. Miss April Pelton. Yay,
Hi.
April. Welcome. So I'm excited to have you on the show because not only are you amazing and you deserve all of this attention, right? And promotion for the amazing things you do, but you are also one of my personal students. So, and one of my favorite success stories, just for all of the things that you did and that you took what you're doing in writing to another level. So talk to us a little bit, share with us about your books, where this love for reading and writing came from. And let's start there. Share with us about your books and where did you get this love for reading and writing?
All right. Well, my first book that I published was The Grove of 100 Wishes. And that book was actually a reflection of bullying that I went through in middle school. I wanted to create a fairy tale book that not only promoted kindness and benevolence, but showed that through hard work and staying true to yourself, it pays off and you will be rewarded in the end. I originally have written a book called BFF Notes, actually. I've always wanted to be an author. My grandfather was an author. My mom was a reading and writing teacher. So through that, I had a love for reading. And so when I got an assignment from school to create a fairy tale story, my mom and my cousin read it and they were like, wait a minute. This is actually pretty good. We can make this into a book. And so The Grove of 100 Wishes was born through that. As far as it goes with where did this love for reading and writing grow and start from, again, my childhood. I grew up with my grandparents. And so whenever my grandfather was writing his books, I would see him writing it and I'd be like, I want to be like that when I get older. And so I would just go around the house. I would find pieces of paper and a stapler and I would make these little books. I would be very bossy and I would tell my family, whoever was nearby, I need you to write this down. I need you to draw this. No, this needs to be this way. Just creating stories, the love of stories and the love of being immersed in a book has always been in my heart. After The Grove of 100 Wishes, me and my mom decided to make I Am, I Can, I Will, which is a book about positive affirmations. We actually dedicated to all my baby little cousins because they were figured out about The Grove of 100 Wishes and they were like, hey, I want a book too. So we made them I Am, I Can, I Will, which not only teaches positive affirmations, but it also teaches reading skills, which was very vital. The Grove came with the workbook about writing skills, so we wanted to make sure reading skills was incorporated as well in the second book. And so my mom made the workbook and I helped out with the book. Our third book was actually, oddly enough, another reading and writing assignment that I did. And that is An Enchanted Tale with a Twist, The whole entire book is actually a poem. I got inspiration from Dr. Seuss. And so I decided to make a little fairy tale book with all my favorite stories, The Little Mermaid, Snow White, Jack and the Beanstalk. I incorporated that all into the book. Just a fun story you can read to your children at night. And then for our fourth book, that was after I became the first Tarrant County Youth Poet Laureate. And so my mom was like, hey, we got 3 generations of authors in this family and we all do poetry. Why don't we incorporate that into a great book about unity? So we birthed the equation for unity, and through that 3G authors, which is a company that me, my mom, and my grandfather started so we could make some great books and help others publish theirs.
Awesome. And, so thank you for sharing where your love came from, dropping the titles to her book. So y'all, if y'all didn't hear them, don't worry. They'll be in the captions below where you'll have links to her website and you can go and purchase her books from her website. So tell us about the transition from just wanting to write books and sell them, not realizing that was a business, to learning about business and your experience with Teen Biz and your experience in the mall. So tell us about how that transition was for you.
Well, that transition for me was pretty rough. I had written the book, and my auntie, the glam coach, she was in business. She knew about you and Teen Biz Camp, and she was like, we need to get you connected because, honey, you have to start a business. And I was like, no, I don't. I don't need a business. I'm just going to publish my book, and it'll take itself from there. And my mom was like, no. In order for this book to get out there, you have to market it. You need a business behind it. You need something that it can stand on, because if it doesn't have a foundation, it's not going to go anywhere. So I had to suck it up. And at the age of 12, we started Inspired by April, so my books could be published and so that we could get them out there. Through that, we met you at Teen Biz Camp, and you taught me all the skills that I needed to know to market and get my book out there. I remember the first time I went to the mall to start marketing, it was the Dallas Galleria. We had set up my stand. It was in the window, so you could see all my books. We made it all pretty because you have to make sure it gives a good appearance, so it's appealing. I remember my mom was next to me, and she was like, okay, we got these bookmarks. Go out there and go market. And I was like, no, I'm good. I'm just standing here. I'm like, they look, I don't know. These people look like they don't want to hear me. But if I didn't go out there, and if I didn't try, and if I did not market myself and market my book, it would not have gone anywhere, and it just would have stayed on that shelf, and no one would have been able to hear my story and my testimony about how I overcame bullying and about how I desired to not hold on to that resentment, but instead make something beautiful out of my story. And so I went out there. I got my bookmark. I said, hello there. Would you like to come check out my books over here? I'm Lynn Pelton. And sometimes they would say, yes, let's go check this out. This sounds cool. Sometimes they would say no. And I had to learn that a no is not always a bad thing, and that it is a part of business. And you're going to hear a lot of no's, but no's don't matter as much as the yeses. And so it's just a part of life. It's a part of growing. And Teen Biz Camp taught me that. There was a whole lot of times I would just go home and I'd be like, today was not the best marketing day for me. And that really hurt. But through that, I learned that life throws hard hits. But if you keep at it and you keep working towards your goals, it will pay off. And Teen Biz Camp definitely helped me to see that. And I would say it's paid off so far.
Thank you for sharing. Oh, I love my kids, y'all. I really do love my kids, all of them. And I'm so proud of you. Resilience. I don't think we can talk enough about resilience, especially as an entrepreneur. Again, a lot of times people are not ready for the rejection and criticism that comes with a business, and the fact that people are going to ignore you. And it's like, we want to run a business and we want to make money, but we want to avoid the hard parts of it. We don't want to do that. But the more comfortable you get with it, which is where I think, where I think that we have been really successful in developing a youth program unlike any other, is the fact that kids have real world experience in just that, getting rejected. Like, we put them in environments to be told no and to be ignored so that it doesn't hurt as bad. It doesn't bother them. And they come through beautifully and they shine through just like April. So, let's talk about, for a minute, and really quick, I'm going to share my favorite story about April that tickled me. So I remember after you did your book signing and we were in Macy's. So you had your pop-up in Macy's. And at this point, April had been on the news 2 or 3 times. And to promote her book signing, this is a whole year later. So a lady walks in Macy's and she sees April there. And April goes to introduce herself. And the lady goes, "I know you. I saw you on the news." And April goes, "I love when that happened." And I look like, so this happens? Wait, so this happens? You're just famous out here and we didn't know. I didn't know nothing. But she handled it with so much grace, y'all. But it was so funny because being comfortable talking to people, being comfortable communicating is what April had mastered the art of. So talk to us, April, about where you are now and how you're currently using your skills that you've learned, not only as an entrepreneur, but are transitioning that to apply to your job. Tell us about how some of these skills you've learned as an entrepreneur transition into anything.
Well, I would say that when I was younger, I was always very, very confident. Middle school, though, I lost a lot of that confidence that I had. And a business on top of that, I was like, gosh, y'all just want to put me down. Like, I can't handle all of it. But
you're brutal. Y'all are brutal.
But business in Teen Biz Camp, all that taught me how to gain back my confidence. But I tell everybody who sees me now, the confidence that I gained from having a business was way higher than the confidence I had before it. So, yeah. So any job that I have now, whenever I go to an interview, I hold myself with a whole lot more poise, but also a whole lot more confidence because I know who I am. I've had to go into malls, go up to random strangers I don't know at the age of 12 and ask them to come support me, a young Black girl. Read my books and believe in my idea, believe in my dreams, and believe that it will also help them as well. So I go into these interviews and I walk in with that same confidence, like, I know who I am. I know what I've put into my business. And if you hire me, I'm going to put in that same effort into your business. And honestly, I got a job this school year at this spa. And the lady had known me on social media. And she was like, "Oh, you're already hired because I've seen your work ethic and I've seen how you put into your business. So I already know you're going to put the same into mine." And so just by staying true to myself and working hard at what I believe in, others believe I'll work hard at what they believe in as well. So wholeheartedly, confidence is key, and a business really helps out with that.
Girl, I need to tell that story. I can't wait to tell that story, y'all. Y'all know I'm bragging, okay? My baby was famous on social media to the point people hired her before she even got through the interview. She just walked in and got you hired. I know that's right. That is so inspiring to share because, again, business is really hard. And a lot of times people fear the rejection, the criticism, but knowing that confidence comes out of that, right? And a knowledge of who you are. And then you get to show your work ethic and what you're made of to the point other people see it and say, yeah, I want to work with them. That is so beautiful. And that is the entire point. So I'm so glad that you shared that with us. Is there anything else that you would like to share with us before we wrap up? At this last page, give us some tips. Give the next kid entrepreneur some tips that you wish you had.
All right. Well, the first tip I would give is to just try. I originally did not want to even try. I had made up in my mind, this is not going to help me. I don't want this. And I was set in my own ways. And it had to be through effort and through a hard conversation that I realized that trying does count and trying does matter. And you never know until you try. It can be a large leap of faith, and it can be very, very scary to put yourself out there. But my mom says it best. She told me through someone she was working through, they told her this, that if you do not market yourself and if you do not put yourself out there, you are doing a disservice to others, because you never know who will be inspired and who will be motivated and impacted by what you have to offer. Even if it's not a product, you yourself are a product. You inspire people, you motivate them, you help them. Whatever you have to offer, at some point you're going to have to market yourself and push yourself out there. Because if you don't, again, you're doing a disservice to others, and you never know who is going to be like, hey, she is doing some things, I want to back behind her. Oh, or he is doing some amazing things, I want to support that. So put yourself out there. Do not be afraid to try, because you never know what will happen.
Awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, April Lynn Pelton, y'all. Hats off, baby girl. Hats off. So proud of her. And again, check out her books. You will be able to find links about how to purchase April's books and learn more about April here, and we'll put it in the caption somewhere around here. And if not, it'll be some links in the description that you can check out and learn more about April. April, again, thank you so much for sharing your story with us today.